All right, so it has come to my attention that I did not do a great job in my last video talking about the one-day protocol schedule. Okay, so let's take a look at the schedule. The day is gonna start early because you have to take the neurostimulants an hour or so before you start the treatment. If you wanna know more information about those neurostimulants, check out that same video that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. You're then going to fill out the forms in the questionnaires like the PHQ-9, the BDI, or the GAD-7. That process can actually go by rather quickly, all right? These forms are to help establish a baseline characterization of symptoms. We're going to compare these baseline symptoms to how you feel a few weeks later. Okay, after you take the neurostimulants, after you fill out the forms, the next thing you're going to do is the mapping. Now, the mapping is something that I've discussed in great detail on this channel. This is basically where you figure out what power level you're going to need to get a response and where the treatment location will be. If you want to watch a video where I discuss this in great detail, the links are in the description as well. Okay, so now that you have the power level, now that you have the treatment location, you are good to go for treatment. Every 30 minutes, you will get around 600 pulses. The actual treatment takes only 3 minutes. But if you take into account the setup time, which includes putting on the head tracker or the cap, placing the coil, etc., it will probably come out to about 10 minutes total per treatment. You then come back again at the half hour and start the process all over again, minus the neurostimulants, minus the forms, and minus the mapping. This goes on for about 10 hours straight, totaling 20 treatments. All right, so I know 10 hours sounds like a long time, and it is, but it tends to fly by, especially if you do some work, watch some TV, or listen to music either during or after the treatments. By the time you do a treatment and get into the other room, you rest up, watch some TV, you're back in the chair again for another treatment. For me, I don't plan on doing the mapping the same day as the treatment. There's just too many things that can go wrong, too many variables that you can't account for, and I don't want that to throw me off schedule, and I don't like rushing. Just to give you an example of what I mean, with some patients during the mapping, it's a little harder to get hand movement in locating the motor cortex. If you don't know what I mean by that, again, I would encourage you to look down in the description at the video that I have for mapping. Another thing to keep in mind is that when you first start treatment, a lot of times you need to make adjustments to maximize the comfort level, and that's really not something that I want to address the day of treatment if I can avoid it. Yeah, so I'll probably map on a separate day, either the day before or maybe even earlier that week. I also encourage people to get MRIs for accelerated treatments, because for this protocol in particular, you only get one day to get this right. Okay, so if there is a need for remapping for whatever reason, you might not catch it until the end. And if you're interested in why I say to get an MRI or what the process looks like, check out that video in the description as well. Bottom line, there are different approaches to TMS treatment. Call your local provider to see what theirs is. And that, folks, in a nutshell, is the schedule for the one-day accelerated protocol. Take care.